changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. It's Tip Tuesday, and I want to share a story about how great it feels to have less stuff, which is a good thing to hear right now when we're in spring cleaning mode. This story, called The Liberation of Liquidation, is from a book we put out last spring called Chicken Soup for the Soul, The Joy of Less, because there is a joy in having less. Too much stuff really does weigh us down. John Buentello tells us that he and his wife Annie had lived in a large 3-bedroom house for more than 10 years. They were renting that whole time, and when the owner died, his heirs wanted to sell the house. John and Annie didn't want to buy it, so they started looking for a new place to live. And after more than a decade of mowing the lawn, trimming the hedges, pruning the trees, and doing all the other yard work that comes with living in a house, they didn't want to move into another house. So they decided to rent an apartment instead. Their kids were grown, and they didn't need that much room anymore anyway. But they had so much stuff. Every room was stuffed with things, and that garage was stacked high with boxes too. There was so much stuff, they didn't even know what it all was. John and Annie decided that they would put all that extra stuff into storage for a while, so that if they decided to move back into a house in the future, they would have it. So that was the plan. They found a wonderful 1-bedroom apartment they really liked, and whatever wouldn't fit there was packed up and ready to be put into storage. But that's when John changed his mind. He said they should just take all the stuff that was slated to go into storage and either sell it or give it away. So they hired a person who liquidated estates, and they let her take care of selling or donating 3/4 of the stuff they had once thought they couldn't live without. John says walking away from all the stuff we had acquired during our life together was hard, but it was also liberating. He says that he and Annie have a different kind of life now that they are free of all that stuff. He says they are now living a life where what they have isn't as important as who they have in their lives. I know I'm going through my parents' house now, the one in which they lived for 60 years, and it is packed with stuff that is so out of date, but would have been wonderful to give away to someone 10 or 20 or 40 years ago. We all have this impulse to hold on to things just in case someone wants them, but where is that someone supposed to come from? When I look at all the stuff that we are throwing away from my parents' house, it's just heartbreaking because all of those things would have been worth something to someone years or decades ago. I'm taking as much as I can salvage to the thrift shop, but so much stuff, thousands of dollars worth of things that would have meant something to someone many years ago, are now being discarded because they are so out of date. I remember a great story in that same book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, The Joy of Less. It was a story by Jeannie Jacobson, where she talked about how all that stuff we're holding on to could be someone else's blessing right now. The fact that you might be holding on to something in your closet or basement or garage that you will never use again, and that could be of benefit to someone else, is probably the best reason of all to declutter your home. So that's the way to look at all that clutter. Ask yourself, am I holding on to someone else's blessing? If you are, then get rid of it, give it away. And then you'll not only have the wonderful feeling that you get from having less stuff weighing you down, you'll also get that great feeling that comes with doing a good deed. I'm Amy Newmark. Thanks for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast today. Come back tomorrow for Wow Wednesday. I'm going to share the story of a chance meeting that led to a miraculous reunion of a woman with the brother and sister that she never knew she had. In the meantime, if you'd like to get motivated to declutter your home, and if you'd like to read some more tips from Chicken Soup for the Soul, The Joy of Less, go to our website, chickensoup.com. And if you want to reach me to talk about the podcast or anything else Chicken Soup for the Soul related, you can email me at amy@chickensoupforthesoul.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, where my handle is @Amy Newmark.